So that is how I am right now.
How are you doing, Archbishop?
I don't know how I am doing, but I am doing.
You look well, sir. You look well.
Do I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you kindly. Thank you.
Thank you, my Lord. You started your life as a priest, and you were ordained in 1972. Most of members of my audience probably were not even born. That's how long your career has taken. Why did you decide to become a Catholic priest, especially with the sacrifices that comes with it? In fact, it's not even your decision. Probably sometimes it has to be a family decision.
Yeah, I think that's very eloquent, you know. I am honored. Actually, you are talking about a movement or a situation which is not just directed by human beings, but it is also directed by God. So when someone asks me, why did you become a priest to begin with and later on bishop, then archbishop? I said, it's all God's work. I was also protesting along the way, but I cooperated knowing that I am not just my own, I also belong to God as a Christian, as a Catholic, and as someone who participates in the evangelization of our people. Evangelization is just a big word that says proclaiming the good news of salvation. So for me, it started rather early. We are as little boys, you know, 4, 5, 6 years in school. We were altar boys. And that's where we started, you know, liking to work as a priest, because we had quite a number of priests who were coming to visit us in far away outstations, but they kept coming like once a week, sometimes twice a week. And they were always so kind and so jovial, you know, laughing and producing jokes and giving us also videos to see. So I said, these people, they're very
attractive.
Yeah, they are very attractive. They are good people, and then they also teach us how to pray to God. And from time to time, they would produce a soccer ball and we would be kicking it out. This is the place where to be. So at the end of primary school,
yes, sir,
the lower primary school, the priest will come and say, don't you want to become a priest? Oh, yes, of course, Father, I want to become a priest. When do you ordain me? No, wait a minute.
There's a process.
There's a process, and it's a long process. We hope that you can persevere. So at that age, with a number of my own colleagues, we started a training to become priests at Standard 4. Standard 4, Standard 5, and then later on up to secondary school. Each time you finished a part of formation in this place, then you are taken to another, then another, each one a lot more.
So you knew you would be a priest far, far earlier because of the training they would subject you to when you responded to the calling?
Yes. You express your desire to become a priest, and they explain to you, you want to become a priest, you have to go through training. You can't simply come up and say, now I want to be a priest, I want to be ordained. You know, just like teachers, they have to go through teacher training and so on and so on. Priests as well, they have to go through training for priests. So slowly, you know, you get a little more advancement, and you are given this kind of title that you are Standard 5 or Standard 6. Went through primary school, secondary school in Lubushi Seminary, then to senior seminary. Senior seminary is a place where we spent about 10 years doing studies.
Which seminary did you go to?
I went to the seminary which is not in Zambia, the senior seminary. The junior seminaries, I went through 5 of them.
Yes, sir.
Then I came to Lubushi, which is not junior seminary, but it is a preparatory seminary, a little better than the junior ones, Lubushi Seminary, in the district of Luwingu. From there, I went now to Kantensha in Isoka. And then from there, then we went to the senior seminary. And the senior seminary, the seminary in Malawi, because we didn't have our own seminary here. So we went to Kachebere Senior Seminary in Malawi, which is in Nchinji district. And that's where we were for 8-9 years, finishing of our formation. You know, they have to chop off bits and pieces from you, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
In fact, Nyasaland at the time, and Northern Rhodesia, and then later Zambia, as a church, I think it was like one district, were in some parts of Malawi under Kasama Archdiocese, or vice versa? No,
actually, as soon as these missionaries established themselves in a country, they created a different kind of, we can say, dispensation from another, just across the border. So Nyasaland remained in Nyasaland for a long time. And Northern Rhodesia remained Northern Rhodesia for a long time. But because those priests who are working in both countries were of the same group of priests, you can say missionaries of Africa.
Yes.
So the missionaries of Africa who are in Nyasaland and those in Zambia, in Northern Rhodesia, were from the same route. Most of the time, even from the same country. Sometimes even from the same village, way back in their own places of origin.
Yes.
So that is how it was. Once we did our senior seminary formation, then at a certain point, but you know, you look like you could be like a saint. So I'm now looking at Saint Brebel. Then you are given a step forward. And those steps about 7 or 8. And then finally you become a deacon, you are ordained a deacon. And a few years later, then you are ordained a priest.
Yes, the church records show that you were ordained as a priest on 17th December 1972. I think that's when you were ordained as a priest at the age of 25 years.
Yes, young and innocent.
Yes.
But now...
But what is of interest is your quick rise in the church. I think you were one of the youngest bishops to be ordained as such, because by 1987, you were ordained as Bishop of Mbala at a very, very grand ceremony, which was even attended by the first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. What would you attribute your quick rise in the church and the quick recognition?
Well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet or say things
we have to, sir.
You are ordained a priest. You go through stages of maturation. You just don't come in and say, hey, here I am. You know, I was ordained just yesterday and you better respect me. You know, you go through experience. Just like the older boys, you know, you just didn't say, today I'm going to serve Mass. Wait a minute, you have to learn. Even as a young priest, you have to learn how to go to outstations, to be with the people and involve the people, talk to them, teach them. After some years, they see that you are performing not so badly. Instead of just being curate, meaning a junior priest, second to a senior one, then you become the superior. So you too could have about 2 or 3 priests who are under your charge, and so on and so forth. So at a certain time, they think that time had come for you to be a little more senior. And then it goes on and on. This, like everywhere, it is not just going like that.
No.
You are assessed in various ways. What you say, how you say it, what you do, how you do it. they are putting down their notes. So when a day comes, some selection should be done for a senior priest. The votes are made, and then someone comes up. And again, in that area, as parish priest, you learn and you continue learning until one day they say, well, look, maybe time has come to give him a little greater challenge. Yeah. And that's how it has been with me.
Yeah, you then became co-adjudicator of the Archbishop of Lusaka. At the age of 57, this was in October 2004, and it didn't take long before you became Archbishop of Lusaka at the age of 59. Again, this is a remarkable rise. Archbishop of Lusaka is the most eminent Catholic leader in the entire country.
Yep. Now, actually, see, what happens is you have so many years and you have gone through so many trials in inverted commas.
Yes.
You have been given this particular portfolio and you perform well, and by and large people come to appreciate your presence and your work. Then they say, maybe you are not going to make too much of a mistake if we ask him to do something more. Yeah. So I began, I must say, with teaching in the seminary, minor seminary. I was teaching there for quite a number of years. And I must say I loved it because I used to play soccer with the young ones.
Do you still play soccer?
Unfortunately, I go jogging. From there,
yes, sir.
This is, how do we call our place there? Thorn Park.
Yes.
From Thorn Park along that road, right up to the Great East Road.
I need to come and put you on camera, sir. A man of your age jogging. Yeah, that's very...
Then back.
Yes, sir.
And I feel very, very, very well.
Energized.
Energized. So then I went to the senior seminary. The senior seminary in Kachebe, I continued playing soccer. I used to play number nine.
Yes.
I specialized in, how do you call that? Big shots, If there is a stop ball, hey, Mpundu, where are you? Unleash my thunderbolts. And that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was playing even here at the Pope Square.
Yes.
Every Saturday. Water boys, where I started, I was remembering all the time. So we would play soccer, and after that sit down to eat a bun and something sweet.
Yeah.
And that way I just hated being moved away from there to
another place.
Yes,
because you had created a community.
But then on the other more serious stage is after I taught in Lubumbashi for some years, then I was sent for studies abroad. Yes, and that was quite challenging. Theology, philosophy, relaxology, and all. So when I came back, my bishop was Archbishop Mpundu at that time. They want you to go to Lusaka.
Yeah.
After I had been, in Porokoso and Kaputa places, they want someone to write notes. As the bishops are having meetings, we were writing notes. You are good at writing notes, aren't you? I said, well, with your permission. So I came to work in the Catholic Secretariat as Secretary General of the Bishops' Conference.
Okay.
As you say, at a tender age. So everyone was, especially bishops, how did you come? You are a little baby, you see?
Yes.
But don't worry, we are going to support you. Thank you very much, Your Grace. And so that's how it was.
Yes.
Then from there, as Secretary General, I received a bombshell. And that bombshell was to the effect that one day I got a telephone call. At that time I was in Parilanyatwa Road. There's a house where I had, convinced people I should move to. Nice house, Telephone call coming from the Apostolic Nunciature.
Yeah.
Now the Apostolic Nunciature is a place for the representative of the Vatican, yes. So, but this time around, it was the nuncio himself, not his representative, because he too has a representative. Are you Father Mpundu? I said, yes, I am, by the grace of God. Please just wait there, don't go. I'm coming back. Let me go and drink some water, which he did. Are you ready for this? What? You see, the Pope has just appointed you the Bishop of Mbala.
Yes.
I said, what?
Yeah.
Bishop of Mbala? Me? Yes. What have I done wrong? No, you are nothing wrong. In fact, you did something good, that's why. So I think, no, could you please give me some time to think about it? This is a very important
big appointment.
Yeah. You just don't go there like, oh yeah, we are giving you 4 days to think. 4 days? Yes. Okay. And the man who was the secretary said, after 4 days I'm coming to ask you once again.
Yeah.
So after 4 days, I told you I would come back. Have you decided? I said, no, I haven't decided. Or you can say, yes, I've decided not to accept. You better be fast with it. The Holy See does not tolerate this kind of, talk and work. You must be a lazy worker. I said, yes, Your Excellency, yes. So, 4 days down the line.
Why did you think you had to think about that? If you are a priest, I think the next thing you want is recognition. For example, especially in the Catholic Church, that was such a big honor. Why did you think you needed to think about it? Such a rare privilege.
Yeah, those questions are very legitimate. But we are human beings, all of us, and that's good. Various people would receive that news in various ways. And for some, we are all human beings. Oh, now I am a priest. God, I'm just back from studies abroad. Oh, now the next thing is the big thing.
Yeah.
Some. Others will say, this is a very responsible position. And I have to be very careful in my whatever I do and say. And also the strain, of the work. So even on that 14th day, I said, no, I am coming back in 2 days' time. 2 days' time he came and I said, well, seems that the Pope is very determined to have me crucified. In that case, yes. So then it was publicized very well.
Yes.
Mpundu has done it. I don't know why people said, and it is God who does it. So I was ordained bishop in Mbala. And as you noted very well, you are following all these things happening. But it was, with trepidation.
Yeah.
President Kenneth Kaunda had come, and he very much made the ceremony very, very good, and everyone was around. But before that, he had gone to Cassava Bay, to meet with some people, from abroad and so on. Yeah. But he offered a short speech, short and sweet, like most of the time he used to be, and a blessing. Now we have a young bishop,
Yes, yes.
a baby bishop, he said. This baby bishop, you have to just grow fast, mature fast enough, because everyone will be looking down to you and all that. So you just have to prove yourself. And I said, yes, Your Excellency, but also with your prayers. This is God's enterprise. It's not a human enterprise. It's God's enterprise.
The Archbishop Pelas Mtale and Archbishop Adrian Mungandu were present at your consecration and ordination.
Oh, yes. Oh,
and
yes.
of course, Dr. Kaunda. I think that's what made it extremely very special.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You have been Archbishop of Lusaka twice earlier, as I recited, and in 2018, I think, to your retirement. Again, those are special opportunities that you've had in your priestly life. Yes. What would you attribute this to?
There are opportunities, but there are also challenges. I think it's more a lot of, pain, stomach ulcers, and so on and so forth. But by and large, God is there with His grace, with His assistance to guide you.
Yeah.
And then you have older people, the bishops and priests. Some priests are so experienced, you think they are just next to God. If you are open to them, they will guide you. And you find it really quite profitable. And I think it just depends on this way of cooperating with others, those that are senior to you and those that are of the same age. Then the whole drama becomes a place of drums, celebrating instead of, that little bishop who came, so arrogant, he didn't even greet me properly. I am a Monsignor. Then they whisper to you, those people, that Monsignor, most reverend, right reverend, and so on and so forth. So you get everything, and very soon you are part of it. It is really God's grace.
Yeah.
It is frightening. It is frightening, so really. But after some time, why was I so scared? God has been with me. And I praise God. I praise God's people for supporting me. From time to time, we have all kinds of issues within the dioceses that are coming up, but that's why they put you there. They thought you could perform. Now the time has come to perform. You refuse to perform, all right, we are going to inform him, and him means the Pope. Once we have informed him accurately, you are going to be released from this work. Okay, no. Monsignor, please, not too fast. I am making amends.
So you are, to the nation,
Yeah.
and the Catholic community, to the nation, you are well known for your, people would term controversial public comments, especially in defense of the poor, in defense of the church, and against vices, poor governance, corruption. Maybe first let's speak to the church's position, your social teachings, that makes you as leaders then voice out in the manner that other churches may not speak. Because it usually confounds politicians when they see you as leaders of the church speak. Maybe they want you to be silent like other churches. Just give our viewers the background, especially about social teachings, and what prepares you to make these public comments about the governance of our country.
Yeah, that's a long assignment you have given me. I'll try. In the course of your formation as a priest, we have studies at theology, and in theology of a lot of branches of full theology and so on and so forth. So this is also a way of putting in the minds and the lives of those who are training to become priests, that they know exactly what it means to become a priest. When you become a priest, you are sent forth to preach the good news. And the way of preaching the good news is given to you so that you are not fumbling, that you are straight. I was sent to Canada to do studies concerning particularly the social teaching of the church. And I decided on my own to be even a little heavy on the side of social justice. Yeah, social justice. And I remember one time we had a project there in Canada, London, Ontario. They said, those who want to participate in this, it might be a bit harsh, for you when you hear all kinds of the things that people are going to be saying. We have a project as Canadians here. Don't think it is just your own country where you have problems and, do's and don'ts and the rich ones and the poor ones. We also have poor ones. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do? On Saturday morning, we are going for a demonstration. A demonstration within the city of London and London, Ontario, just to bring to the attention of the political people what is going on in the north of Canada. Yeah. There in the north of Canada, they have mines, various mines, which are, of course, worked by mine owners. Multinationals. Yes. Multinationals. And so what has happened is this, that there has been a lot of layoffs of people in that area, in those mines. Why? Because they have found somewhere else in Latin America where they get much cheaper labor. So here they are laying off all the people and then opening on the other side. The church is fuming. The local church is fuming. So we planned, to demonstrate. As we were going, people who are like you, trying to inform people what is going on, rightly so. And they were following this group of people from Tanzania, from Nigeria, from Zambia, and so on and so forth.
You were a group of priests studying in Canada. Yeah. And then you decided to take the cause of miners in North Canada by protesting, by a demonstration.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So then, as we were walking and singing...
Carrying placards.
Yeah, placards are plenty, yes. So someone came to me and said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Zambia." "From Zambia?" I said, "No, Zambia. Yeah. "Where is it?" I said, "In South Central Africa." We are more qualified in terms of talking about the knowledge of countries than you people here. You can't even pronounce Zambia. Oh yeah. But why are you doing that? So here is a cause, and that cause for us is a cause for God. Poor people in another place are being deprived of the opportunity to work and to earn money just because of the greed of all those multinationals. So I wanted to add my voice to, it is wrong, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. If you do that, you have to find ways and means of once again bringing those people who have been laid off with employment. And it is unnecessary because you Canadians are very rich. Filthy rich, I put. Okay, so we walked, and when we came back, the following day...
It was big news.
Big news.
Across all big newspapers.
And here is a young priest, who was telling us that we are filthy rich.
You made the news personally.
What I'm saying here is,
Yeah.
I was taking for seriousness, very, very serious, the social teaching of the church.
Yeah.
The social teaching of the church is very simple. It is not so complicated like in Mpundu. They are making some statements and some words which we don't understand. No.
Yeah.
Simple. Evangelization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Saint Brebna can tell you, sometimes we are exchanging notes, you know, what evangelization is.
Means, yes.
It's not such a big word. It is it's the work of the church. When Jesus was going back to heaven where he came from, he said to his apostles, "Go therefore and proclaim the word of the Lord and evangelize." And how do you do it? Well, it is not such a big deal. It is very simple. It is the work of the church everywhere in the world. And even those people who say we are not Catholics, but we are Christians, no, it is their work together. They are proclaiming one word, one message. And then, you know, Jesus is the best, even now, is the best teacher you can ever have.
Yeah.
He brings together the teaching in just like a small thing like that. You know, with one person who wanted to trap him when he was preaching, then he preached upon, you know, people loving one another, being neighbors, being good friends, and so on and so forth. Then one fellow who thought he was very, very clever, excuse me, preacher, who is my neighbor? A very, very interesting story. Who is my neighbor? One day, a man was walking from Jerusalem to Jericho, fell among thieves and criminals, and they beat him up, and they did whatever.
Left him for dead.
Yeah, and they left him for dead. One person came, looked around, and another one, and another one. The fourth one looked around, stopped, knelt down to look at the battered person, and he did the needful, cleaning his wounds, and giving him some water to drink, and putting a bit of wine in the wounds.
Yeah.
And that person came up and started walking. He was already healed. Now, you, clever one, who do you think is a neighbor of the one that was beaten up? Of course, it was very
The Good
clear.
Samaritan.
Very, very clear. What about us? It is a clear message. And this clear message, again with our Lord, who is the master teacher. They were asking him, you know, the end of times, what would be like, what would it be like? And he stood there and he said, when at the end of the world, the king comes to claim his dominion. The king comes to claim his dominion. Now, what will happen is that, like a shepherd, this king is going to divide the people in places, like this one, that side and side. Okay? And he will do this. On the left, he will put people, just like, you know, all these shepherds. They put sheep and goats and whatever. On the left will be goats. The Tanzanians are very, very aggrieved when you say the goats are going to go to the left. Because for them, a goat is sacred. Any feast that is there If there is no goat that is slaughtered and eaten, it is not a celebration at all. No. See, we should not put goats. We should put
sheep.
No. You are changing God's own message. So come on.
Yeah,
so then, once he had done, to the left are the goats. To the right, the sheep. To the left, he will say, you people, go away from me. Because I was hungry. You didn't give me food.
Yeah.
I was thirsty. You didn't give me to drink. I was a stranger. A stranger. And you gave me shelter. And off, on and on. Naked, you gave me what? I was beaten up. You came and you gave me something that really made me feel like a human being. And so on and so on. This is the agenda for evangelization.
Yeah.
Even now, today, when I came here, I was fetched by my guardian angel. Someone from the media just phoned, what is going on? What is going on? I said, but you should know better. You're asking me. Yeah, but you see, the other day, the dollar went up and then it was so on and so forth. So what is your comment? I said, the comment is very simple. People we have elected to rule, to save us, they are responsible for this.
Yeah.
They cannot just deny that responsibility, otherwise they are useless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Now anything else? Look, my brother, you are married? Yes. With children? Yes. With children. And the relatives who are hanging on because they are... Yes. It is very simple. You are married with children, your wife. The major task is to feed your children and wife, and also those who are around.
Yeah.
You do not feed them, no matter how gentle you look, how handsome you are a failure.
Yeah.
There are no two ways about it, a failure. Our political leaders, people that we have put in place to govern us, they have failed this nation, and they should feel ashamed because they are failing to give us what is essential. So that is it.
The term useless, they are useless, is very strong, but it justifies what you're saying.
It is, yes. If you are not feeding your children, your wife and children, what are you there for? Even in the village, they know everywhere, especially in town. Even just a little place where to sleep, you have to pay. You are not doing that for your children, your wife. You are a massive failure. And this is what we are telling our political leaders.
Yeah.
And they better listen to what we are saying as church leaders. Because the voice of those people is God's voice. God's voice. When we hear about the story of the person who went from Jerusalem to Jericho, we are told. But we didn't finish the other one. You on the left, there. Because I came and you didn't do this and do that for me. Those on the right to heaven with me. So that is that. Evangelization and being Christian and being really human is to be with our brothers and sisters and to look at them as your children, as your... You don't do that.
In fact, the Catholic Church is one of the few denominations and faiths that is really present in the ordinary lives of our people. You run Catholic mission hospitals, schools, and and you have social justice organized. You feed the poor. Your evangelization is beyond the pulpit. Many churches would like to restrict themselves to the pulpit, but like you stated, you bother about everything, including feeding the poor, giving them clothes, and accessing them justice.
Yeah. You see, when it comes to the work of missionaries, this is just the sharp end of evangelization.
Yeah.
Right from the word go, they started educating us. Education. And for quite a long time, at a certain time you could say this was not just education, giving letters and so on and so forth. It is preparing young people to be there and get to grips with life. Education for survival. So, for a long time, and it has continued after independence, even with KK behind us. What kind of education do we give our children?
Yeah, yeah.
Question mark. They come out. I did some temporary employment here in Lusaka when I was at the Luvushi Seminary. I would do this with the Publications Bureau and so on and so forth. And we had those people in the Publications Bureau. Most of them were authors in various Zambian languages. And they would ask us, you keep on, you are doing very well. When I finished Form 5, I refused to go and play soccer for the Wanderers. I said, I am going back to Lusaka, to see what happens there, how I can get a job. Each time you went to a job, you are Form 5, that way. You can't get a job here, and so on and so forth. Others were my age mates. They were working in the mines, various places in the mines, but of course their pay was very small. They all made a beeline to come to Lusaka because that's where the jobs are found.
The opportunities were.
Yeah. Even now, to a certain extent,
the opportunities are located in Lusaka.
I said, this is not education at all. One of my cousins, he was working in Chingola, in Changa. When that time came, together with others, they followed right to Lusaka. He died 2 years ago. That was 1966. He died 2 years ago. He had come to that department. They call it a place where they have all these taxes for Zambia.
Zambia Revenue Authority.
Yes, that's where he got a job that year. He died 2 years ago without any promotion at all. And the little house that he had in Chirenje, still the same. Then you start asking, education for what? If we do not have one education that immediately empowers those who have been educated, they come out and they go immediately. It is useless education.
Your Grace, that is very apt, because our education system prepares our people for jobs, and in many cases for jobs that are non-existent. You have a huge population of very educated young people who are doing nothing. Why? Because they were prepared for jobs and the jobs are not available. It goes back to that question of education. What kind of education are we offering?
That is exactly what I ask all the time. Sir, not long ago, we had a tragedy in two neighboring countries, Rwanda, Burundi, because of the genocide there. Okay. Those people killing one another, they just let go a population that came to Zambia from Burundi, from Rwanda. Okay. Those people, with the Catholic Church, as we said, we got organized and we got them. Some were put in, like in Luapula province, in the northern province, everywhere. And seminarians were brought in and adopted and so on and so forth. But apart from that, young people who came, you immediately notice that their educational background is very different from ours. They know how to survive. Education for survival. They know. In no time in Lusaka, they had their little things here.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And then recently we even saw this mall, they call it the mall for the Rwandans and so on and so forth. You go there and you say, we have one mall for Zambians, and this is Lewanika Mall. And these people are people from out there, and see how they are doing. What kind of education?
I think
that type of education.
We need to reform our education system. It doesn't empower, it doesn't skill our people, it doesn't prepare them to survive in this informal economy. People like you bringing all these experts to a discussion like that. We got these young people from Burundi, seminarians, in no time. They were beating their fellow seminarians at work, practical work, not just theoretical. In no time. We had a very, very unfortunate thing when the Rwandans were being looted and so on and so forth, and then some of them even threatened with being taken. I even had a statement that I made about that. We become jealous when we see these Rwandese and Burundese in our township opening up shops. Instead of admiring the skill, we say they are...
Last year, I went to Canada.
Yes, sir.
I had something that I was doing there. And I went to their malls. I found so many of these Rwandans taking very, very good positions, not just like sweepers. Because right from the word go. And some of them, they have also children who are doctors already. What about us Zambians?
Yeah.
Our education system limps and limps. Another one example I can give you. We were receiving, when I was in Mpika, that in Mbala, we were receiving young people from Germany. They were coming for what was known at that time as a national service. But their parents objected in Germany and said, we don't want to go back to the Hitler thing. We just want them to go to Africa and experience life where they can survive.
Yeah. And
they came, and we had quite a number of them in Mbala, and the whole of Zambia. In the whole of Zambia, some of them, of course, you see, when they were being taken, we divided them into dioceses. Some were going to the Western Province by bus, and they were asking, are we still in Zambia? So this country is so vast.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had some who were with us in Mpika. They finished 2 years of doing that kind of being there and to survive. Then they went back to resume national service. These people, they just amazed me. We went to visit them in Germany.
Yeah.
And when we arrived there, those who make shoes, they were there.
Yeah.
Those who have all kinds of trades, ordinary trades, they were there. There was one young person. He had done mechanics there in Germany. Then he came here to survive. In no time, he had a job with a big company on the road to Kafue, on the right here.
Yes.
And it is very, very good, very good.
So our education system, like I said, doesn't give us survival skills.
See, that's why I'm now winding up, He, in no time, because he was so good, people were going to him. And that garage was very, very famous. But people started, how much did you pay, doing this job so much. Oh, no, put more, because, that's how it works in Zambia. He said, I'm not going to do that. He started a garage of his own. It is still there. That young man is just quite something. He has a combi. This combi is a big combi. It is nothing but a computer. He goes to the Congo DR every now and then, and he comes up with literally loads of money.
Yeah.
And then after some time, he said, I'm going back home. He went back home. We went to visit them. Even carpenters and shoemakers, they have their own. They were giving us shoes free of charge, 4 pairs. So you came back. These are the people who
young people that you had trained, that had come to Zambia. No, I agree with you, Your Grace, that our education system actually requires, even like you are saying, a special discussion. We need to change our curriculum. We need to decolonize our education system. You cannot have an education system that doesn't respond to national development.
And so the missionaries, the first missionaries, they were trained like that. You go these days at a parish, pipes that are broken, whatever, and the priests are there, Zambian priests.
They're waiting for a plumber.
Bringing back mechanics, how to repair vehicles. At that time, we had them from Canada, from anywhere. Now it is not there. What kind of education? So it is, for me, it is just burning all the time.
Yes, sir.
All the time. Young people from Burundi who are now in Mongo, you won't believe it. What kind of education? You people in the communications media, let our politicians know that our education is nothing at all.
No, it doesn't prepare us to survive, sir. You're right.
No.
It prepares us to stand on a queue for a job.
Yeah.
And if the job is not there, we pressure the politician that you promised
the softy ones, you take things which are already done and you start setting them, and you think, no way. So anyway,
let us come to now the role of the church. I am taking this because you've served from priest up to archbishop, the highest ranking one can get. Of course, there are other higher ranking, but we are so privileged that we've had you. Let us start with the church under our first president, our founding president, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. I think the relationship was good with the church at the beginning. He was very involved with the church. Remember, he even participated in putting together what we now call the United Church of Zambia. He was a friend of the Catholic Church, the Anglicans. But it is towards the late 70s and 80s that there is now a marked difference when we are a one-party state and the dictatorship is in full flight. We remember that the Catholic Church became literally the singular voice for our people. Through your publication, Ichengelo, and others, and through vocal voices of your bishops and archbishops, such as Archbishop Elias Mutale. Let us speak to the 70s and 80s, 90s, and your voice there with the church, and Dr. Kaunda.
You're giving me a very tough for me, again, we go back to what kind of education do we have? It was a yes, one, yes, one, yes, one, yes. But young people taught to analyze issues, taught to be part of this country, to be patriotic, and so on and so forth. We didn't have that. I must confess, sometimes we Catholics, we go to confession.
Yes, sir.
I must confess that the first 5 years, even 10 years, we were in euphoria. Now that we are independent, Kenneth Kaunda was out there on top. He was riding the clouds wonderfully. But the real things of governance, no. We inherited a dictatorship, just pure and simple. Kenneth Kaunda shall be the first president of Zambia. Who could speak against him?
And it was in the Constitution.
It was in the Constitution. It was in the Constitution. And people like Saint Brebner, you know, he's mastered that. How do you go against a saint, someone who has already been proclaimed a saint?
Yeah.
So from that time on, things were not very good. I remember one time, not long ago, I think it was the last time we were celebrating the Kaunda Day or Kaunda Days, and they asked me, what can you say? Do you really want to hear what I would like to say? Oh, no, it's all right. I said, no. First and foremost, Kenneth Kaunda was a dictator. You can't deny that. And a very, very sharp one, brutal one. So where do you go with a dictator? Then all these things were just transferred from one leader to another. Once people became president, they thought they were kings. And they didn't even listen to the National Assembly or to people. So I think we have to do a very big job revamping ourselves. We are still in a colonial era. In a colonial era by our own leaders. But we have not realized that. And you people in the media services, you can help us. You have been doing that. Perhaps like you were the only people talking about it, but we have to make it very clear. You are not going to rule this country as a dictatorship for one person. No. Things are gone. Now we have to rise to our true self, to our true stature. Like those people we are talking, young people from Burundi and Rwanda. We are still sleeping. And times they ask me to comment, it's because of you. You are like the angel there. That's why I'm saying that. Saying Kenneth Kaunda was a dictator. It is a criminal. He was our saint. It's not a saint at all. When you go back even to the times of one Zambia, Umozi Kumawa, it was because of that. We go back and we say, we have to clean up our own politics. People who come up and they have something to say and they say it well, we support them. But we have remained with all that. Anyway, it is our fate.
Yes.
This country is in our hands. And if we think of, please let us make Zambia our own, things are going to work. They are really going to work. But, hey, one Zambia, one nation, one leader. One leader, David Kaunda, no way.
No, the church became very instrumental by 89, I think from 87 up to 1990. In fact, the change that came to multi-party democracy came on the back of the church. I think you were running National Mirror at the time. It was the only alternative voice. You had your own publication in Chengelo and other Speak Out and other magazines that went around the dictatorship. Yes. And then your critical voices as a church was very instrumental.
And this is being pushed, It is a drive, a drive of evangelization. I was hungry, you gave me food, and so on and so forth and so forth. This is what we go about all the time. And we look at all Zambians as our brothers and sisters. It is really very, very sorry, very sad that in the political establishment, this, how do you call it, partisanship, or what, dividing Zambia into all kinds of campuses and whatever, tribes, regions, and so on and so forth. We are one. If we do not take that up seriously, things can be very bad. We have lessons to learn from Rwanda and Burundi.
Yeah.
Let us be one country. The truly one country, not one leader, one one parliament, you know. Even in parliament, for some time, you know, could dictate it to us. So, but we make the parliament, and now they are telling us, you can now you just elect one of us as the president. Once the president dies, criminal, criminal. So education. If we had absorbed that education, so we will not be taken for a ride. You know, a ride.
No, in fact, the role of the church, sir, between Chiluba and Mwanawasa becomes very prominent because you took up the issue of debt and debt justice.
Yes.
Many people would credit the benefit to Mwanawasa and others. They don't know that this was an international campaign by the church, by the Vatican, and you know, you influenced.
And the Vatican brought in its stamp when we said Cardinal Mazombo is going to head this group of saying, you people whom we owe money, you must change. And they went around. And they went around. Cardinal Mazombo's voice was just like that, with Father Peter and Henriot, and a number of secretaries trained. So we can rise from the dead.
Yeah.
It is possible for us to rise from the dead and to tell all those people who are dictators in the making, we don't want you. When if you ever come back, we'll tell you to get lost. Because
that $7 billion was written off on the back of your campaign, on the back of the Jubilee campaign, which was an international, you know, grouping led literally by the Catholic Church. And Zambia benefited from that cancellation. And it gives you a greater voice.
Yeah.
Maybe we just rush to the critical meat. Archbishop, you became a very critical voice, even in retirement, against the previous government. You were such you lent your voice to the re-election of President, to the election of President Hakainde Hichilema. And I think to the political fortunes of the PF Patriotic Front were actually taken away mostly even by your voice. President Hakainde Hichilema is in government. Again, you are one of the critical voices that have risen. What has gone wrong? Why would a man, for example, that you had campaigned for in that manner, again renege on the issues that you had raised?
Yeah, this is a question which should be answered by the people of Zambia, because you are probing us why at this particular time you are not picking up that kind of torch which was started in order to bring us what we have today. Yeah. Why are people so scared? Again, if we have study groups that are made up by people like my guardian angel there, we are Zambians. Why are these things happening? You think we don't have enough intelligence to say this is wrong, and we are going to say to the government, we are not going to accept this? We can. We can. We are not saying people go into celebrations, and especially we don't want violence. We want things to be done good intelligence. We are doing this because this is the right thing. But people are scared.
Are we back to a dictatorship?
Oh, even worse than a dictatorship. That is my opinion. And I should put the adjective, humble opinion.
Your humble opinion is usually a big sting. So we are in a dictatorship, worse than a dictatorship. Why do you say so, Your Grace?
Because dictatorship is you have maybe a group of people or 2, 3 people who are holding the whole country in their hands. this is a country that belongs to everybody. And people in governance, they are there on the, you can call it, on the needing, and also they want for these people to continue. So it is not them in government to dictate. It is for us. We are the people governed. Anyone who is governing us must listen to us.
What are your concerns, Archbishop?
My concerns, you know, we always, at least I always go back to the teaching of the church and our Lord, who said, go out there and proclaim the message of God and proclaim full goodness for everybody. Why? Then there is something that I wanted to say, but it has escaped me. We talked very shortly about people we elect in government. They have a mandate, and that mandate must be made by the people, even long before elections. If you give that to them when they are already in power, they don't need you. They have it. We have to say, right, this is the way we go. And we begin with number one. I can see you are smiling. Number one thing is the Constitution. When you look at our Constitution, we don't even know what is going on. There was a time when the president could be the president, and so on and so forth. Number one, to have this Constitution done, and done well. And then afterwards, people will be guided. You can't just wake up one day and you say, I'm so and so, I'm doing so and so. No. Here is the guide. And this guide must be followed. You don't follow this, you are a persona non grata. Actually, you can be indicted and be prosecuted. When people come to understand that, things will be better.
You were part of a grouping that created OSIDA as a civil society grouping to speak to governance issues. We have seen pictures that you've had interactions with the president. Have you tabled your concerns to the president that probably has veered off the course in which he was elected, that he could have abandoned the issues of the poor, and maybe he has allowed corruption to fester?
Yeah, first of all, just a little correction.
Yes, sir.
I am just a humble member of OSIDA.
Yes, sir.
And that is the truth, the whole truth, and
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So
I was approached by agents sent by OSIDA, beginning with late Simon Zukas.
Simon Zukas, yes.
I was there enjoying my peace, and someone says, don't enjoy your peace too much. The work has not been done yet. Don't you come along? You come along and we work together. We will guide you. We have a big picture. We want Zambia to be big. You will be party to it. Are you ready for that? I was shaking, you know. I finally agreed. When I finally agreed, the members that I found said, well, we can try you. We will try you in that when something has to be said, we are going to be swearing by you as the president of this. Really, you're going to do that? What about you? Don't you think there is this around? Well, if you're afraid, tell us. I felt the challenge. I said, you do the work. You guide me. I will be there. Because I know it is critical. Talking about meeting the president, you know very well what we did as a little group, you know, concerning what could have happened to Edgar Lungu, for example.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we were thinking was, look, let's see this man face to face after the elections, and he was put in place as president. He renegated on the premises, on the promises rather, that he had given them. You can ask him. He didn't even want to hear us anymore. And he made sure that he sabotaged that first meeting that we had said, we are going to speak out. What did he do? He brought in all kinds of, spokes and so on and so forth. And we didn't pronounce it. But there were angels who are very smart. If we can't read it, we can distribute it to the people who are in the mass media, And that's what happened. So he failed to do that.
So
each time,
when you met the president and the concerns you had brought to his attention, he didn't want them to be communicated to the country.
Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly what happened. He didn't want that kind of thing. So
why is he feeling that he should escape scrutiny? This is a president that has come on the back of civil society support, like Osida and others, is one that came on promoting, democracy and transparency, and he should be subjected to that scrutiny.
Well, I agree with you. But what the situation is, this group that will be demanding accountability from him, they would just go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me. And he said, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. I said, to begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group, but he listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you were invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things. And you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently, again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. Yeah. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in the ruling of this country by bringing good ideas. We just went there. We felt like a group of fools. Really.
So this scares me. This scares. And like you are saying, then we are in full-flight dictatorship. If you, Archbishop, of Lusaka, twice, your position in the church, your voice in this country, you are at State House and you are treated like school children by a headmaster.
Precisely.
What about his cabinet ministers? What about his own appointees?
Yeah, that's it. It is a dictatorship, pure and simple. And we cannot continue with this kind of thing. The country cannot progress.
There are people in the UPND, sometimes they use very unfair words that maybe you and others helped President Hakainde Hichilema to become president, but you have not harvested the fruits from his government, and therefore you are now criticizing him. What do you say to those people saying that?
I don't want to be rude. This is just trash. If you ask the archangel there and saint there, that is exactly what our leaders did not want. And you think I was going around looking for a job myself? This is an insult. It is an insult. It's exactly that. One or two of our members have run away precisely because they were not given that particular, or one of their children, one of their friends. So we don't want, when I arrived there, Sida, we are not looking for jobs. We are people who are concerned about
the state of our country.
Yeah, our country. And so if you want a job, that is the door. I said, no. I was sacked because I resigned. So you think I'm going to look for another? No. So all those that are around him, some of them have been, taken from all job seekers. It would just hurt me.
Yeah.
If today I went and I said, President, I want to be Prime Minister, I'm sure he would give it to me because he would just completely kill everyone there on the other side. He was, Mpundu said this, Mpundu now he's the fellow we have to live. No, sir, we feel that is not the right thing. And those who want jobs from HH, they are free to go, but they are not standing for people's wishes.
The young people, I think, listened to your call and the cause of others to have the government of Edgar Lungu voted out and to bring in Hakainde Hichilema. The hopes of Zambians literally lay, on the shoulders of Hichilema, that if he is elected, first of all, that he was going to do what he promised he would do, which he has, lamentably failed. But secondly, that our country will be better. The divisions will be bridged and that the unity of our country will be forged better. What are the lessons we are learning from the 2021 elections? Were we harsh on Edgar Lungu? Did we bequeath these good political fortunes to Hichilema, maybe without proper scrutiny? What can we learn from the 2021 elections?
Yeah, when we go for campaigning for the next elections, it is still far, but not too far, is to simply, first and foremost, I went to this interview with the people in the media who are knowledgeable. They have said, we have just to look at what Zambia is from the point of view of governance. And we come up with a very clear statement. We don't want dictators. We want people who are listening to, the leaders listening to people. And not just a few people. Structures that are there that must coerce the president to do the right thing. Because, as I said, dictatorship coming from Kenneth Kaunda, people think that they are gods when they are in there. And HH is also number one about that. He does not bend. He does not listen. And sometimes those who have even, how do you call it, much more learning than me in areas of, we are talking about the economy and so on and so forth. They say, this person knows absolutely nothing about the economy. Why doesn't he rely on experts? And we have them, and they are good, but he thinks that he knows more than anybody else. So where are we going? To a precipice. But we are not going to allow it. We are going to, again, start a campaign, like the one that we started with Edgar Lungu. We started it at Kariba Dam there, and it was like this, going on and on and on. We have to do it, and we are going to do it on behalf of our dear country.
Why do you think that President Hichilema is a danger to our country, that we have to start a campaign against him and probably seek possible solution and possible successor to him?
Yeah, all dictators are beasts. They kill. Anyone who doesn't listen, they go. But not only that. What we are supposed to be doing is learning in our own groups. There should be a few more groups coming up, not just OSIDA. Learning how to work together and how to listen to one another. Without that, we will forever continue going back to dictatorship. And dictatorship, for us, you and me, we are Christian and so on and so forth. Let's make it very clear. But you are there to look after God's people. They are not your people. You fail to do this, we are going to make sure that you go out. This is not your little garden. It is God's own, Ibala as we call it, vineyard. Listen to the people. Listen to the people, and again, listen to the people. And you have people who are wonderful, most of them educated like you, and so they don't listen to them. This is an insight to Zambia. Our togetherness in terms of education is quite good. But it is not utilized. What does he do after meeting? You know, he goes back to State House, and what does he do? That's where I met so and so. This is what he said. Let me think about it. Let me pray about it.
So, you know, for us, the watchers and people in the country, when we saw a good picture of you and the president, we said, how can she never land? Your country, you know, things are going very well. The president has just seen OSIDA. But you've revealed here that it was a lecture. I suspect then those meetings are used for propaganda purposes.
Sure.
They are not used to build this country.
Sure.
Because when we see the pictures, and there is no information, they just say the president met OSIDA or met the church or met the trade unions. But if what you have described is a window of those meetings, they are being used for PR or propaganda purposes, not to achieve national building.
But when we came personally, and I think the Archangel sent as well, when we came from there, I went for a cold shower, just to cool down the anger. This man is taking God's people for granted. This man should not be allowed to go more than one term, if at all. We should begin now. We are tired. The people of Zambia are tired.
From that meeting, you made that final decision about him.
For me, yeah, you are right. This is not the person we thought would be our torchbearer as a leader. This is a monster. He is a monster. And when it comes to corruption, he's a master of it. Those who come to ask me, the young journalists, what do you think about this person? I said, look, I take strength, you know, from the American Constitution, which was, they say, drafted by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson said, we are about to make this Constitution. You see, these are the guidelines that will help us, you know. What are the guidelines? And you see, there are two dangers to the people of the United States of America. Two dangers. And which are these dangers? One is the state itself. The state itself is a danger to the people. So our Constitution should be in such a way that it will bind this state so that it doesn't do what it wants and
against citizens.
Yeah, and the citizens. But then the second one, it is the crooks. The crooks come together with the state to really abandon, to brutalize the people. And that is it. It is still true. So I told them, there were two of them in my office. That's what we have now in Zambia. You can't say anything to the president. You say, but you elected me. You elected me. I am the right person. You can't say, well, no, why don't you meet so and such people which you have? No. You elected me. So what we have is a wonderful combination of crooks and criminals. And that is a fact. Then they are just sacking this country.
Pillaging someone yesterday on social media used a very strong term, and because you've called Hichilema a master of corruption. Someone said community house is the biggest crime scene. And with your description that the state has become harmful and it has bound together with crooks, and therefore it is very harmful for our people.
No, so that is I don't know how it came. I was just so angry. How can I find out some description of this person? He is representing the state and bringing all crooks and criminals. I mean, some of them very, very, very childish. In the previous government, some of the people were imprisoned without cause. We are going to give them money to compensate them. They just created something and they started paying themselves. And we Zambians, we were just there looking, not one voice that said, but it's criminal.
No, the compensations raised a lot of concerns. One batch has gotten up to 32 million. And in most cases, what has, I think, concerned all of us is that these matters didn't go through the process of the court. They were consent judgments. So meaning the facts haven't even been interrogated by court. The Attorney General, who has been sued with the so-called victims, just come together and write an agreement, and they deposit this agreement in court, and then the payouts come. Literally, there's no better example than a looting frenzy there.
The state coming together with the crooks, with a capital C, crooks, international, looting people. Now there is hunger going on. Our people, and then this person does not even see that this is wrong. So that is I am saying that is the
a man of your influence, you met President Hakainde Hichilema in opposition several times. You officiated at their functions. Haven't you found people around him who could influence his path by raising these concerns to him, other than the failure that you had an opportunity to tell him, but he gave you people a lecture? Haven't you attempted to dissuade him from this ruinous path by speaking to people around him?
So, yesterday and the day before yesterday, The president depends very much on him for certain things and so on. A confidant of HH. But he says this person does not listen to anybody. What he has, and Mwamba has a project is observed. No. People are given money because they have done X, Y, Z, a little thing like this, not following what has been laid down. And there is plenty of food here and there, so he doesn't know where to eat first, and so on and so forth. So I think, I wish we could find someone like that, but there is no one like that. No one like that.
So what is the way forward for our country, Archbishop?
You people, you are gurus. You can ask us, and Angel Kulia, we are going to report to you, to them from you. We would like more ideas. If it were possible, well, it is not possible because we don't have that in the Constitution where one day the National Assembly would just come up and say, away with this president. We don't have it, so we just have to suffer.
Would you agree to those people calling for fresh elections? Do you think that the extent of the damage President Hakainde Hichilema is doing to the state and to our country is so much that we should call for early elections? We give an example of Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. He has just been elected in 1988 with a massive landslide of up to 94%. But within a year, people are calling for early elections. And we had a good man in Dr. Kaunda who obliged and conceded and subjected himself to a fresh elections. I see the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema already saying he has a 5-year mandate. You are judging him too early. The mistakes he has made or the failure to correct the economy will be corrected by the time his mandate is coming to an end. What do you say to those sentiments? Call for early elections and that Hichilema was elected for 5 years and he needs to be given 5 years.
To me, I don't know, maybe I'm very harsh for President Kaunda. President Kaunda is not the person that people want to paint. He was brutal. People disappeared. People were killed. And then when it came to dictatorship, there was no way you could say something to him that he didn't like and that you would really leave 1 week after that. You would be gone. You would be gone. What if we had that kind of thing in the parliament that says such and such a president performs so badly that you cannot bear to see him or her, it will help us. But it isn't. Only with the exception of a rebellion. For example, if we had the members of parliament angry enough to eat a goat and to eat a whatever, this is enough. This is enough.
Or using the impeachment clause.
Yeah, impeachment clause, who is going to sign it? Who is going to sign it? If it is there, why not tell these people, wonderful people, you are MPs, this is enough. Bring the impeachment clause. We don't want this person to continue. He doesn't represent anybody, not even humanity. That would be wonderful.
Archbishop, these are very, very powerful words. I remember in the Constitution, Your Grace, in the making of the Constitution,
yes,
there was that clause that was dropped, the power of recall.
Yeah.
Because our people were complaining that the MPs you elect and they disappear for 5 years. They just come during the re-election and come with a bag of money again, get re-elected. And then you have presidents that go rogue, where midway you can see that they are not serving interest, and that there should be a power of recall other than the impeachment. But of course, that clause never came to pass. But I've just been reminded when you are saying if there was a way of recalling a president.
So I think my guardian angel is listening. We should propagate for such an article in the Constitution so that people cannot come up and trample like elephants on people, and then thinking that they will go away unscathed. That law should be very... There was a time when Parliament was even given power to elect their president, but they didn't use it. It didn't. That's where we are saying, some of us, we hope they use that power not to get the man out of... No. Our Constitution should be made to breathe and to have teeth to bite. You do this, you do that, you do that. Off you go.
Yeah. No, we have an impeachment clause, but the trouble is partisan feelings. We never rise to national interest, because national interest would dictate that even if you are UPND and you think that the president is on a detrimental path, you can support an impeachment motion.
Yeah. But see, to me, it is just you can say the foundation behind those people, the KKs of this world. Good people, for sure. But they were dictators. They didn't want anyone to go beyond them, beyond what they say. So it was not possible to bring a vote against Kenneth Kaunda. It was impossible.
Yeah.
And he came out, with a nice smile and a little joke there and so on and so forth. But down. He was not a Democrat at all.
Over the years, I'm glad that you've brought the perspective of Dr. Kaunda, because over the years, we have brought a saint picture of Dr. Kaunda. We have forgotten the brutality of the one-party state, where there were these deep concerns, and we've never healed. There are these concerns that every government and every leader leaves. Do you see that this country can have some form of truth and reconciliation commission where our people pour their concerns, especially against the state and against certain state leaders, so that we heal as a nation, and maybe other than just the usual elections, there should be a way of this country healing?
I wish we had this institution that simply say, you, President, get lost, but we don't have it. We don't have it. Probably, if a movement is started, a suggestion, for example, from the media houses, where we have heard from other countries and other democratic dispensations that it is possible to throw out your president if he is very naughty. Then people are going to be on the same wavelength and on the same bandwagon. I tell you, I would jump at it myself.
Your Grace, the church
yes.
is being accused of being silent in the face of this dictatorship, in the face of this hunger and pain that our country is facing, in the face of the injustice that we are seeing. And the church, which is literally the moral and salt of the earth, is extremely silent. We saw a pastoral letter from your church. We recognize you in retirement, a very strong pastoral letter that was issued at the end of October. But that was literally the first one in a period of 2 years. And again, as things evolve, we've seen silence. In your times, especially when you were Archbishop of Lusaka from 2004, I think, to 2008, and 2017, 2018, you led the church in a very vocal way. And when I say the church, I also mean other denominations.
Yes.
There seems to be a conspiracy of silence.
Yes, you are right. You are right indeed. Yeah, the conspiracy of silence. I just forget one idea you said before. I was having another idea.
Literally, the role of the church.
Oh, yeah, the role.
In this matter where we are in the face of hunger for our people, high cost of living, and the church is silent.
Okay. I am now going to make a confession. Are you ready to absorb my sins?
I'm not worthy to receive your confession, your grace, but I'll listen.
You credit me with, coming up strongly and so on and so forth. It was not my intention to do so. It's because the Conference of Bishops, with their background and their history of people and bishops who are so vocal and so on and so forth, in the end, I became a lone star. Each time I made a statement, I wrote something under just that kind of umbrella that we are there as bishops to be guidance to especially the political establishment. I was getting a lot of showers. I say, the bishops themselves, accusing me of railroading them, and I don't, I was not consulting them on this and all that. So one day I got very angry, and I said, my fellow bishops, here is my resignation. I was voted 5 times to be president of this conference. Mm-hmm. I didn't put myself there. You cast that vote for me. And I think it was a very good show of confidence you had in me. But now, every time there is a little statement I have to make, I have to run to all the bishops. That means I don't think much, I don't have much there, up there. Each time I have to go write to all of them to hear from some of the statements need immediate contradiction. Mm. No. So in the end, I just withdrew slowly. And I said, I'm going it alone. And when Archangel Brebner came and said, there is a little picnic here, would you like to come along? I was jumping like in it. You are right. The leadership of the church, Catholic Church, is, we can say, compromise. I don't know why. What are they afraid of? I don't know. They are compromised, and it is not right. I think perhaps I should again start, being like pins. Look, I said it time and again. Time has come for us to act and to come up with a strong statement, very, very clearly done, because time has come now. Again, at a certain time, during the British colonial administration, how most of them expatriate, in fact, all of them expatriates, stood for us Africans, and they won. And each time they spoke, the British colonial administration, they obeyed. But why?
The church, led by white or European priests, spoke for where with the anti-colonial grouping, spoke against colonialism, literally speaking against their bosses.
Yes. But you see, not long ago, we had Bishop Duffy from the Western Province there. Yeah. How powerfully outspoken he was. Yeah. They used to call him the Lion of Bulos. Yeah, Bulos. He spoke. I was very surprised that at his burial, there were so many people from the bishops themselves and from different places where you couldn't expect them to come, but they came for his burial because they saw how this man was a gallant soldier to protect his people, to be first thing, and then to protest against things that were going on which were not really, should not be allowed to. So I think what ought to be done, in fact, twice I spoke to them, even the last time they came. Look, this is the way we should go. If we don't go this way, we are going to lose it altogether. And as my humble contribution, I'm saying, why don't we revive the, how did we call this? No, that group of church mother bodies.
Yes, the church mother bodies, yes.
Yeah, but the group we have...
Oasis Forum.
Oasis Forum.
Because you brought civil society groupings, including Law Association of Zambia.
Say, let us revise this. We bring it together. Because all church mother bodies were part of it. And I remember one time we spent about 3 hours at the Anglican Cathedral. We were discussing something near Easter. And then I read that statement at the end. And my fellow bishops said, who told you to write that? I said, God told me to write. Look at this. And so that is also one of those areas. And even the other day I was talking about this church mother bodies and the thing that we had together. So, those are good suggestions. I think we should go along with them and don't relent. Don't relent. Come after us. And not just like this, you name the names.
Name and shame. Thank you for that empowerment.
Yes. Why is it? Our people, the Catholics, they are speaking, but very quiet. No, you shouldn't be quiet. We belong to a church of our Redeemer, who is a powerful king. And now we are just like that, like little sheep. No, it doesn't go. It doesn't go.
Yeah. No, we need your voice. In times, like I said, in times at the highest of the dictatorship of Dr. Kaunda, it was the church. Kaunda didn't like the publications you do, but there was nothing he could do because the church was together, despite the intimidations and threats. Your Grace, I've held you for a long time, and I'm so privileged that you came to have a conversation with us. What are your last thoughts?
Considering my death? No,
we'll canonize you. We'll not be for your canonization.
No, personally, I just love my country. It pains me that sometimes we don't realize that our country is a good country, and our people are mostly good people. We haven't had that kind of thing in Rwanda or the kind of tensions that you get in Zimbabwe and so on and so forth. We are good people, but let us encourage people who can speak to speak. They shouldn't wait until things are so bad. Part of it, like we are here, I think he's taking notes. We should go back to those notes and say, we have to make this statement. Because I don't see how bishops can be afraid of anybody. I wasn't afraid of anybody. Even now, I'm not afraid of anybody. If I know what is to be said, must be said, that gives me a lot of power. And this is the way it is supposed to be. You people, don't be afraid. Tell us, where are you? In your, you say, sacristies, we want to hear words that are good from your mouth, guidance. It took a long time for them to come up with a very, very poor kind of statement. I was saying, my God, I look like my trousers are falling down. You didn't hear that?
Such an activist, Bishop.
You didn't hear that?
So every time you spoke, you shake the country. From the days, you were in active ministry. And you say the unsaid. You say uncomfortable truths. You speak truth to power. You say things that many are afraid to say. but you say it as it is. And I think over the years, and I think that's why I bothered to walk with you from the time you were ordained and your activities and your walk in Christ and in mission up to date. So that people realize that when you speak harshly against Edgar Lungu, because you've spoken harshly against Michael Sata, you've spoken harshly against Rupia Banda, you've spoken harshly against Frederick Chiluba, you've spoken harshly against Kaunda, and you've spoken harshly against President Hakainde Hichilema. You speak as it is. You speak your concerns as you see them. And I think the duty of leaders is not for us to insult you or demean you. The leaders should listen to you. They should listen to your concerns. And they should not worry about your choice of words, because the choice of words are very stinging. When they receive that bee sting, they should remove it and understand why they've been stung than worry about the sting. Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, I'm so grateful, sir, that you made an appearance on the Conversation podcast. That rich Bemba, I wanted you to infuse it in the discussion, but maybe that's a matter for another day. And on that, I expected the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema to apologize when they called Archbishop Malik Banda those names. Lucifer. To date, there is no apology from President Hakainde Hichilema or his Secretary General. I wish we had time. We could have also discussed that particular matter. Because how do you handle such insults? You were Archbishop. When they attack you, they say you are partisan. They say, no, join politics. How do you handle that?
No. You see, the best thing, when people say something and it is not true, or it is something that is not worthy of people of standards, where they are, we just denounce that. It's a pity. I'm referring to one who died recently. The person who was the commander of the army, not the army, the Air Force. And at one time he was a big man in...
Honorable Ron Shikapwasha.
Yes. Ron Shikapwasha came up with a stinging attack on the Catholic Church.
When you were Archbishop of Lusaka at the time?
Yes.
And you're president of the Episcopal Conference?
Yes. That, the Catholic Church is brewing racism, and then, like in Rwanda, that's what they want to do, and so on and so forth. It was a
How did you respond to that?
I put my AK-47 in that barrel. We didn't hear of him anymore.
Yeah, because I remember then at the time, Honorable Ron Shikapwasha was Chief Government Spokesperson.
Yes.
He was Minister of Information.
So I spoke about that and ravished it. And then, in the end, as pastor in a church, the one who is saying things like that instead of encouraging one another about what happened in Rwanda, and then on and on and on. That was the end of him. Because it was so low. You don't do things like that at that stage in leadership. Even if he was in the army, in the Air Force, he's part of government.
Yeah.
So that is it. The honor and privilege here are mine. Sometimes I am burning inside. Where do I speak about this? But you gave me your time, and I said, well, this is where I'm supposed to be. And you are very knowledgeable about issues of the church, that you should go out and the proclamation of the gospel, the evangelization. Those words are very technical, but you know them. We will give you a mark.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
To our dear listeners and viewers, we're privileged today to host Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. Archbishop Emeritus is in retirement, but you can see he has not retired. from the wisdom that I think he has gathered and given to the nation. We will continue with the conversation is to build our country, to unite our country, and voices like Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu just come to, render that voice to the project, that this country must have conversations, even the difficult conversations.
Especially the difficult ones, because these are the ones, the difficult ones where we know the stakes are high. And once we have won, we are glad. But the little things, no. Mm-hmm. The big things, so that we say we won. Yeah. We have made progress as a country. Yeah. Especially those.
No, your passion for our country, your sacrifices you've made for our country, especially the courage you've demonstrated again and again against power. Because presidents and the state are very, very powerful. But you've risen again and again and spoken very strongly, Karabesa. For speaking on behalf of You have my applause. You have my applause. Clearly, that deep member from Kasama where you grew up. Thank you very much. Archbishop, this is your platform. I may invite you once again. Maybe there could be a burning issue where you can render guidance, national guidance, and I'll be privileged to invite you. I'm coming to come and jog with you. You are very fit, and I'll come to Thorn Park and jog with you, put you on camera.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming. And thank you, special thanks go to your guardian angel, Mr. Brebna Changala, who have been bothering that, please get me the Archbishop. And today he told me the good news that you'll be here. So thanks to Brebna Changala as well for the great work he has done to ensure that he could fish out the Archbishop from his place of safety to come to the conversation. So God bless you and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you.
But especially you. You are an archangel, not just the angel.
Yes.
Archangel.